Hey everyone, my name is Owen Rensland and I scaled my agency to $29,000 a month in revenue. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to cold call A to Z for beginners. This video is really important because cold calling develops so much skills early on. And I cold called to about $10,000 a month recurring. And so in this video, I'm going to help you get there by showing you the framework and mental model that I use to cold call. This is going to be more actionable with scripts and everything like that, even go high level automations, power dialers, etc. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that you can succeed insane amounts with just cold calling. So let's jump right in. I'm going to show you the first thing, which is arguably the most important thing. So let's run through it. So if we jump on a Miro board really quickly, I want to basically reverse engineer what you guys actually want in the first place. If you just want to make 10K, it is insanely easy with cold calling. I'm going to show you how. Literally, if you want 10K, if this is your end all be all goal with cold calling, and it's literally so easy to hit this with cold calling, you have no idea. All you have to do is assume that each client you sign will be worth at least 1 to 2K, which is very low. I was charging 4K. I charge 4K on calls. Like, let's say each one's 2K, so you just need 5 clients. To get 5 clients, if you're terrible at sales and you have a 12% close rate, mine was like 34% at like my highest month. Let's say your sales close rate is like 15%, pretty low. That means you need 33.3 conducted sales calls to hit your goal. And if we account show rate into this too, then a typical show rate for most niches is typically around like 45%. So if we simply just divide that out, that's 73 meetings that you need. Okay, 73 bookings, not even meetings, 73 bookings to make 10K in a given month. Okay, let's say if you cold call correctly using the framework I'm going to show you in this video today, you get a 3 to 4% point booking rate. Now let's see how many cold calls you need in total to get 10K. According to these metrics, you need to do 1825 cold calls to make 10K. Okay, that's it. If we divide that out, not even including weekends, like there's usually like what, 22 days in a month, something like that, 22. That's 165 cold calls a day for 1 month, and you make 10K. And you're probably asking yourself like, okay, great. So how do we actually do it? And I'll show you that. But for now, I just want you guys to understand that the reason why people fail and don't succeed is because they don't do this. Like, this is it. This is all you need to do. It's that simple. It's literally just math. Now, the one thing I want you to keep in mind is that if you properly use the systems I'm going to show you today with the power dialer and the script and everything else, you can crank this out in like 2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours of work every day to make 10K. Why would you not do that? It's like, it is so silly. And these are completely realistic numbers, right? When I started, I had about a 50% show rate, maybe even a little bit better. My close rate was about 10 to 15% when I was starting. Now, I will say this will take rapid improvement. You need to be better at sales. You need to continuously iterate and watch your calls back and learn from them. But 165 calls every day, just 165 dials, 4% of booking rate. Like, that is all you need. Literally all you need. So without further ado, let's jump right into some systems. But first, I want to run you guys through 3 things that I think you really need to learn when you're looking to cold call. And people don't really teach this, and I don't know why, because it's really important for your show rate, for your rapport, for your close, actually, for the quality of your client, the LTV. Like, this stuff is really important. And what it comes down to is frame, tonality, and urgency. Right? These are the by far the 3 most important words when you start to learn how to cold call and go through this process. Because when you're actually on the call, people just like say it doesn't really matter. You can basically jack off and get a 4% ABR, and it's not true. You can't do that because you have to have these 3 aspects. Honestly, the last one is by far the most important because it completely affects your close rate, your show rate, everything else. So before we jump into the last 2, let's understand frame. The definition of frame is the perspective, context, or lens through which a situation, conversation, or idea is presented. So basically, it establishes like the boundaries, the meaning of an interaction, and it kind of shapes how others perceive to respond to it. That's how I would define it. Now, an example of this is like setting frame at the beginning of a sales call. So what that means is to basically guide and set like a roadmap of how the rest of the call is going to go and expect it to go. And that way you can like focus on your value and establish like you as the authority on the call. Basically, think of frame as having authority. And the key to setting appointments, the key to cold calling, the key to booking appointments, the key to closing deals is frame. Like frame is the key. And in order to actually establish frame on these cold calls, there's a few things that we can do. Okay, the first thing that we can do to set frame on these cold calls is set expectations, right? And what I mean by that is the beginning of the call to set expectations of how this call is going to go, and that this is like an if call, not a how call, etc. And if you want more insights on frame and setting frame more specifically on sales calls, check out here or here for the video on me closing a $10,000 client, $10,150 client. And if you're curious about that, feel free to check it out. And the second way that we can actually go about setting frame on these cold calls is to ask the questions. Okay, you want to control the conversation. Now, this is really, really, really important. If you're the one asking questions and thinking of it almost like an interview, you're interviewing them to see if they can maybe be a good fit for you, then that is how you're going to book the most appointments. The third thing you do is position yourself as an expert. Act like you know what the fuck you're doing, even if you don't. Because I guarantee you, when you start cold calling, you are not going to know what you're talking about or doing. But if you have enough confidence and use the next two things that I'm about to show you, tonality and urgency, then you can position yourself as such a damn expert that they're like, okay, shit, so yeah, we gotta hop on a call. And arguably the best way to actually have this frame set on a actual call like this, on a cold call, is to act and have the mental model that they are coming to you and that you don't need them as a client, but they need you for your services, right? If they're thinking that in any way, if you're thinking that and that's your mental framework going into the call, then naturally, just through the conversation and how the flow is of the conversation, like you're just bound to have better frame set. And if you have better frame set, then you're going to be the authority and they're going to want to hop on the sales call more. A lot of people think preventing no-shows is all about just like sending more reminders, thinking they know where to click on the meeting. But like in actuality, it's these three things. It's tonality, frame, and urgency. So now that we understand a little bit more about frame, let's go into tonality, because this is super, super important on a cold call. Now, I know we will get through the scripts, the power dialers, and everything else in this video, but for now, I want to make sure you guys understand a few fundamentals just so you can kind of get your foot in the door. So tonality is arguably like one of the most important things, I would argue, when cold calling, because it's really overlooked. Like, people don't really think about tonality, and especially tonality in sales. That's a huge thing that I'm still struggling and I'm working on, because I was talking to one of my like sales mentors and she was saying that my tonality fucking sucked, and I was like, okay, so I need to fucking learn. I need to learn and improve. But having tonality on cold calls is all about having confidence, clarity, being friendly and warm, having energy and enthusiasm, and then adaptability, which is really, really important. Adaptability is everything. So those are like kind of the four aspects of tonality, I would say. And if you learn all four, you can communicate over the phone super, super effectively. Now, like we mentioned earlier, these calls are all about value, right? Cold calling is all about value. That's all it is. It's just a value exchange. And that's how you should think of it. And so it's really important, though, that the prospect or whoever you're talking to on the other side of the phone actually thinks that it's worth their time. Okay? If they don't think their call is worth your time, they're either going to hang up on you, cuss you out, then hang up on you, book a meeting with you and then not show up, etc. So this is why you have to be confident. That is the counter to this. Okay? If you can be confident and clear with what you say, then they will have no reason to not hop on a call with you. The best way you can do this is to speak clearly and, slow down. I used to do this a lot when I was starting out. I would talk super, super fast on the sales call, on the cold call, and I would be like, slow down, think about what you are going to say, and avoid filler words where you can. Now, I'm not the best at this, but it does help. And just act confident. Like, I think, honestly, when you build an agency or build anything good online, like, you just have to have a sheer, like, almost delusional sense of confidence, and especially in the beginning, because if you're not confident, then no matter what you do, no one is going to take a shot with you. And so it really becomes a good skill to be able to just, like, flip on a mental switch in your head and just be like, all right, I'm going to be, like, confident as fuck, like, super airy, like, I'm going to get these results no matter what, no one can stop. Like, that is what you need to focus on. The next thing is warmth and friendliness that we mentioned. It's really important to be positive. We mentioned confidence, right? And how to be more confident on these actual cold calls. But it's really important that we're friendly as well and warm. So the best tip I have for you for this is just to smile while you're calling. Okay, this can get exhausting, especially after like 300 plus cold calls in a day. But if you can smile, like, let me ask you this. Can you tell the difference between this when I say, hello, my name is Owen. Hello, my name is Owen. Like, you can just tell a difference. Like, there's just a difference. Like, it's a really, really, really good habit to start smiling on all of these calls, because they can sense it through the call. And also just be playful. Like, don't take shit too seriously, make jokes here and there. You'll notice that if you watch videos of cold callers online or them actually calling, it's like, it is all playful. There's jokes in the beginning. It's like, another one that a lot of people I know struggle with is their, like, in their tone, their, like, energy and enthusiasm. And with this, you want to not be monotone. Right now, I sound pretty monotone because I'm coming down with something, but if you do this properly and you vary your pitch based on what you're talking about, and you act like you're, like, reading basically, and actually show genuine interest in what they're doing, and like, you actually care about it, like, that is how you have more enthusiasm on these calls. Okay, so just to recap so far, in tonality, what we need to focus on: confidence and clarity, which we went over, and how to be more confident; warmth and friendliness, and how to be more friendly; energy and enthusiasm, and how to have more enthusiasm; and then the final thing, which is probably the most important, is adaptability. On these cold calls, especially because there's such a short interaction, we want to build as much rapport as humanly possible for them to chat, like, hop on a call with us. And the best way to do that is to match them. So this is a skill I learned when doing door-to-door sales growing up, and I think this is what separated me from everyone else, because as soon as I started cold calling, because I already had this skill developed, I would crush it, like 5% ABR, like, without a question. And the reason is because when I was doing door-to-door sales growing up, it's really important that when you're at the door, when you're talking to them, you have to match their tone. You have to match their, like, mannerisms and how they act, and their language as well. Because if you match them, then they'll be more likely to like you, and you can build more rapport with them. And if you could do this properly, then, like, your prospect will feel some sort of connection with you and be way more enticed to book a meeting with you. So to actually apply this, literally just match them. And what I mean by that is, like, if they swear on the call, swear as well. If they sound more formal, like they don't want to waste much time, and they're on, like, they're in an office somewhere, then sound more formal. If they sound casual, like they're just, Joe in a truck that's just driving around, it's like, have a relaxed tone, not like you not really give a fuck type of thing. It's like if you actually take these 4 things, the confidence, the clarity, the energy, the enthusiasm, the adaptability, like all these aspects just in tonality, then you will get way more results. Like, you might think that this isn't as important as it is by watching this right now, but in actuality, if you can master these things, frame, tonality, and urgency on an actual cold call, then it does not really matter what script you use because you already know what the fuck you're doing. Okay? So now that we actually understand tonality and how to have a better tone on these calls, let's go over urgency. Urgency is the key to show rate. Like I said earlier, everyone thinks show rate is all about the automations and the no-show reminders and the VSL, which is all very true. Like, that has a very big part to play in it, but honestly, 50% of it is urgency as well. If there is no urgency built out on a cold call, then there's going to be zero reason why someone should hop on a call with you. If, like, to tell whether or not you're building enough urgency, you can base it off of the responses that you're getting at the end of the calls. If you're getting people that are saying, oh, let's just hop on next week, let's just hop on in a few weeks from now when the season gets better, like, when people say shit like that, then you know you have zero urgency built out in the call and you have to improve. Most programs, most YouTube videos will just be like, use this script and this framework and you'll book 5 to 10 meetings a day. And it's like, you just won't if you don't know this stuff. Like, without urgency, even if you book 100 meetings, you're literally going to get no one to show up. Like, at all. So we have to make sure that we build urgency. So to help you guys understand urgency, I literally created my own Hormozi type equation for urgency. This right here is the equation to build more urgency on a call. Now, you've seen Hormozi's value equation. In order to build more urgency, there has to be a perceived cost of delay, time sensitivity, FOMO, and then a desire for like an immediate benefit. Now, I'm going to show you guys some examples, but only say something like one of these examples if it flows with the conversation. And that's what's difficult about building urgency, because there's not just like one little thing that you can say. It's just how the flow of the conversation goes and how you like smartly integrate the actual urgency building parts. So let's go through each of these examples. For example, perceived cost of delay. So what this actually means is like the missed opportunities. So like the cost of waiting for the decision. So the way that this could work is like by saying like, if you wait to hop on a call with me, like you might fall behind. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a lot of guys that are coming in and crushing it as soon as they hop on with me. And so like, even if you wait like 5 to 7 days, like even just like a week, like it will be harder to catch up because all of these guys are already set up and going and they're all locally around you. Like, so it's really important that we just hop on a call as soon as humanly possible so we can get this underway. Like, that is really, really good. Like, that's just one aspect of the 4 parts of the equation and building urgency. The next thing is time sensitivity. Like, there has to be some sort of time sensitivity. That is time sensitivity. Now, this is really important. These are, again, the 4 parts of the equation, so let's keep going. Now, this is divided by the FOMO, which is basically the perceived risk of missing out. So, basically, mention, like, what you're doing for the competitors right now. That's enough FOMO, in my opinion, and that's super easy to do. So by just saying like several of your competitors have already signed on with us, not immediate competitors, but people that are also in the state but not close to you guys. So, and honestly, we're seeing an average of like 40 to 50 extra leads every single month. So like, that's the main reason I want to hop on a call. You know what I mean? Just building up that FOMO aspect. The other thing is the desire for immediate benefit. So like, another really good way to build some more urgency is to mention what could happen if they take action fast. So by just saying like, I've done this so much, by just saying like, we could literally have your campaign up and running in just a week, like right now. So if you wait a week, it's like, why would you do that? You could have leads already coming in. You could have people already buying from, you could already have jobs coming in from this. So you can start and you will start seeing results immediately. And I promise that you're going to regret waiting. Remember, you don't have to really mention all 4 of these aspects in every single call, but if you do, they're gonna show up to the call. You just have to do it in a smart way that's natural. Not all of these, little segments and examples are gonna work for every single call and prospect. It depends on them, and that also comes into tonality and everything like that. So that is urgency. These again are the 3 things that you need to focus on in the beginning. So honestly, With this knowledge, you should be able to build a script. You should be able to do all the things that you need to do. But I want to quickly cover objections. Objections are something in cold calls that people get wrong. Everyone thinks that you should handle objections in cold calls and that it's really important that you do so. But I disagree. I think you shouldn't handle objections. And what I mean by that is that if they have plenty of objections on that initial cold call, I'm talking like 4 to 5, then don't even bother. Just don't book a meeting with them, because chances are they're not going to be a very good client. They're not going to stay with you very long. They're going to have plenty of resistance towards, setting things up. Even if you do close them, they're going to have plenty of objections on the sales call. If I were you and there was objections, handle them. If there's only 1 or 2, and if there's many, just don't even bother. Like, on cold calls, it doesn't matter that much. Like, I'm going to be honest, it doesn't. If you want to see what to say to some objections, here are some responses. I'm not going to run through these, but you can pause the video and go through them. So there's a few right there. Now, we need to learn how to actually call. Okay, cold calling is not just dialing and picking up your phone and typing in a number. It is much different than that. So to actually cold call, I want you guys to all use Go High Level. Now, if you don't already have Go High Level, I will give you my cold calling snapshot in the description down below. Okay, so this will be my cold calling snapshot. Now, what's great about this is that you can simply download it and then use all of the automations I'm going to show you in this video, including the power dialer. But as soon as you're in Go High Level, all you have to do is import a list of leads. So for example, right here I have roofers. Now, what you want to do, you can get leads really anywhere, like Fiverr. Honestly, I would just buy them on Fiverr, a big list. And if you take that list of leads and format it in clearoutphone.io, you can remove all the landline numbers. So then you only have people that are like personal cell phones. And what that'll do is just really increase your pickup rate, increase your booking rate. I do not recommend cold calling unless you do that. Now, once you do that, you can simply just import a big list of contacts. So there's 2 automations, basically the appointment tag and then a power dialer campaign. When someone books an appointment with you, whether that be on a calendar on High Level or with Calendly or whatever the case may be, you need to add an appointment tag to them so they get removed from the automation. So if you want to do this automatically and book points through Go High Level, then you can just simply add the calendar here. Simply just add the calendar to the appointment status here and basically add this appointment book tag. Now, you can do this manually if you do, if you book appointments via like Calendly or some outside booking software. But if you do it with this, then you can simply just add in calendar, choose the calendar that you booked them in with, and then simply add the tag appointment booked when you book an appointment with them. Now, the reason why you want to do this is because then they get removed from the power dialer campaign. So here's the power dialer campaign. So basically you add them to this campaign when you go to dial, and I will show you how to do that. But for now, just to run you through it, they get added to the pipeline. They get the tag power dialer. The manual call action is when you actually call them, and then basically that will call it, call 1, and essentially it'll even track the number of times you've called them, which is insane. So this all looks super complicated, but I'm going to show you how this works. So basically what you want to do is go into conversations, manual actions, so every day, let's say you're calling, you imported 100 leads and you want to call 100 leads in a day. You select all of the 100 leads. So you could do this by selecting the certain imports or just selecting all the records, and you want to add them just like this to the power dialer campaign all at once. You can add just like a number or whatever, add to automation. That's all you want to do. And after you do that, they're all going to get the tag power dialer on there. And then you simply just go to conversations, manual actions, and you press let's start. Okay, when you press let's start, it will just start dialing for you. And I don't have a phone number on this snapshot, but basically it will start dialing for you, like over and over and over and over again. And if you guys want a video on A2P verification, toll-free number verification, all that good stuff, I can drop a video on that. But for now, basically you would just press this call button and it would just go like call next lead, call next lead. And don't actually say the response of the call. Like it'll pop up a box after you call and say like, how did this call go? Just skip that. And in the bottom, all you need to know is if you go to additional information, you put the cold call result every single time here. Because every time you cold call, it'll take like 5 seconds before you move on to the next one. And during that time, you want to keep the additional information open. And then right here, you can change the cold call result to be interested, not interested, follow up, or no answer. Right? And then this will automatically track for you. So once you cold call, you're done for the day, you're cold called. In the pipeline, all of these leads that you put in for the day will be in call 1. Okay? And tomorrow you would do the same thing, but in this column. And then move to call 2. Then they move to call 3. And what's good about this is that slowly you'll just weed out all of these businesses, the ones that are not interested, by putting them in the columns. All of this will be automatically sorted based on the responses in the actual additional information. And you can put the interested ones, the follow-up ones, book the appointments in with a booking calendar. It's super, super simple. And that is the cold calling process for Go High Level. So if you guys want that snapshot, once again, it will be in the, not in the description, but it will be in the comments. So it'll be like the pinned comment or whatever. Now, a simple script that I recommend is simply this script. Now, it's not anything special or crazy, and the reason why is because you don't need one, right? When I cold call, I usually don't use a script that much. Just a script to keep me like in the right flow of what the framework should be, like the actual just general guidelines of where it should be. Now, with cold calling, like if you have tonality, if you have frame, you have urgency, if you know what your goal is, you know what you're saying, you're asking questions, like you don't need this. You do not need like a full out script. So that's it. That's literally it. Okay. Now, if you guys are curious a little bit more about how I actually outsource this process completely to VAs, then I will drop that video right here for you guys. But I hope you found value in this video, because everything that I showed you today, if you apply it tomorrow, you do 200 cold calls a day, and you come back to this video 1 or 2 months from now, I guarantee, if you're not an idiot, you would have made at least 10K at the minimum. So I hope you guys appreciated and enjoyed this video. But yeah, so that's that. By the way, if you are struggling to land clients, struggling to grow your agency, don't even know where to start in booking appointments, and you just need some more guidance, some coaching, some one-on-one stuff, click the first link in the description. Don't worry, it's not like a 997 course, a free school group, a Discord server, any other BS. All it is just a video of me telling you how I can solve your problem because I've solved it for myself. It's a funnel completely designed to sell you something. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not. Like, and I also just don't care if you click it. Like, I don't really mind. You can click it if you want. But if you do have a problem with building this agency and you want to get it off the ground, get it going, then click it and I'll speak to you there. But that's all for the video. If you liked this video, there's a button for that, so go ahead and press it. If you guys have any video ideas or requests about anything like extended in this process or anything else that you want to know, just leave it in the comments and I'll make it. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday consistently, so if you want more content that keeps you engaged with good value, with actual learnings and teachings, then I recommend sticking around, subscribing, getting to know what I do. But have a great day, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.